Families can be together forever through Heavenly Father's plan. Families can be together forever through Heavenly Father's plan. Families can be together forever through Heavenly Father's plan.
Travis Wingetzel. There's a comment this morning on my breaking LDS news. Russell M. Nelson changes temple covenants again. Now that was done last year, way back in, what was it, April or something. And the comment is from my kids KKK. There's a D instead of a third K. But yeah, they're going to be deleted. But they pointed out something of interest that's worth covering. And it's something that I have not covered with this temple change to the law of chastity. And they indicate that the change was made because of the United States making it law for gay couples to marry. And that would make sense if the church was being forced by the United States to marry gay couples. And that may also be the reason why the church has been involved with evangelicals in the religious freedom movement, as if they are concerned that their First Amendment rights are under attack by the deep state Democrats. And when you don't have honesty from the leaders of the church, you get nutcases like my kids KKK. Yes, I'm purposely not calling their channel correctly. And what I was covering with it was that the church was trying to introduce into the texts for the temple, which are sacred, that allowed Mormons, if they're paying attention, who all understand polygamy was practiced, whether the church is correct that it went back to Joseph Smith or historical fact that it began with Brigham Young. Mormons know polygamy was practiced. And there's an underground belief system for the mythology that in the millennium, which, despite all the signs of the Bible happening, Mormons still believe it's sometime in the future because President Nelson hasn't announced it. But in the millennium, polygamy will be practiced again. And so Mormons, are being led around as blind sheep, being led by those who think they're blind. Who Mormons think they're blind, but it's an evil purpose that the church has for them. But it's not for gay marriage. The United States is not forcing the church or any church to require Mormonism to marry gay couples in the temples. It's just not there. And the United States can't violate the First Amendment. And yet the church is accurate. There was the Mormon Leaks video of the apostles meeting where they were paranoid about the gay agenda. Now, just because they say gay agenda, if you don't know the background behind the bully, abusive thinking of the gay agenda, it's that they believe that the LGBTQ community are purposely trying to indoctrinate children to glamorize being an LGBTQ, and thus encouraging youth to become LGBTQ, and thus not want to be heterosexual. That's the gay agenda, as spoken of by heterosexual homophobes. And so I can sort of see that as a background influence in the law of chastity, because the original one is that it sort of left it open that it could be possible for gay marriage. And the change that Nelson made does seem to let me check it again. Yeah, I had the Man in the Iron Mask, the song when the Three Musketeers and Leonardo DiCaprio as the king, the rightful king, to replace the evil twin, when they're trapped in the dungeon and they decide to go out fighting rather than being taken prisoner. The files are just getting so huge that I can't find things right away. I need to organize this. It's gonna take too long to do that. Oh, there it is. New tab. Alright, each of you, this was the original, each of you shall have no sexual relations except with your husband or wife to whom you are legally and lawfully wedded. And it's changed, the women of God's kingdom and the men of God's kingdom shall have no sexual relationship except with those to whom they are legally and lawfully wedded according to his law. So no, the gay agenda does not work in this. Just because they say women and men, no. I don't know. Maybe they're going after. No. I can't support his thinking or her thinking. I can only support polygamy. The use of the pronoun those, you know, because it should be properly with the spouse to whom they are legally and lawfully wedded according to his law. That would have dispelled the polygamy thing. If they wanted to go against the gay agenda, the women of God's kingdom shall have no sexual relationships except with their husbands to whom they are legally and lawfully wedded. We've got to keep it singular, right? And the men to their wife to whom they are legally and lawfully wedded according to his law. But it's not worded in such a manner. They worded it this way. Now, they understand grammar. They know English. So I don't believe that this is just an editing error, because this goes through a whole review process. They don't just have somebody, Nelson, come out and say, oh, this is the way I want it worded. Okay. So let it said, so let it be done. No, they discuss this. They talk about it in their meetings. You know, they have a committee from the 70 that is formed to go over and review this and recommend to the prophets changes, etc. This was not something that was just done off the top of Nelson's head. This took years of thinking. And if you think otherwise, you've not been involved in this process. I have. Yes, I have. I know how things are done in the church. This was purposely thought of and considered word for word. They knew exactly what they were writing here. And they purposely put those. And they purposely put his law. Because where does his law of marriage come from? Because Brigham Young, right before he died, the year before he died, a new Doctrine and Covenants edition was made. And new things were put in, and things were taken out. Two of those things that were taken out was the chapter on marriage. Monogamy by Joseph Smith. It had been in there. Despite Brigham Young announcing polygamy in 1852. And Section 131, which is right before Section 132. You have to go to the Joseph Smith papers to see the full text and the parts that were taken out. And the part that was taken out was Joseph Smith talking to one man, one woman, saying, you guys are going to be exalted when you're sealed in the temple. Monogamy. Brigham Young had that removed. And so now you're left with the new and everlasting covenant, celestial kingdom, which then leads right into 132 for 10 virgins. Just see how they did that? And all Mormons, if you don't do your checking, don't do your research, you're going to be led astray by what you see before you. This is how magicians are so awesome. They don't reveal their secret sleight of hand. And the mirrors and the trap doors and etc., as to how they pull their stunts. And so if you are unaware that that's what's going on in the magic show, you're going to be astounded saying, oh my goodness, this guy can do magic. It's real magic. He's a warlock. And his assistant is really hot. And so, yeah, don't be fooled. I mean, this guy didn't even bother. I don't see a gay paranoia here. It would have been worded differently if there was a paranoia about gays. Just because they say women and men, gays consider themselves men, lesbians consider themselves women. Those who don't consider themselves the gender that they were born with do consider themselves men or women, depending on which gender they consider themselves. So I don't see a gay agenda in the law of chastity change. I see a polygamy agenda. So, yeah, my kid's KKK is getting banned. Yeah, he's trying to force an implication by saying or implying. No, there is no implication. It's you, my kid's KKK, who are the homophobe. And homophobia is not allowed on my comments. And so, yeah, then they get abusive in another comment on the same video. I'm not even going to bother with that. So, alrighty. I'm very surprised. The John DeLynn video oh dear God, the analytical program sucks so bad. Because of Super Bowl, people watch the Super Bowl, but the analytical program was conditioned to recognize the John DeLynn video I did yesterday as if it were going to get that many views, but they didn't factor in the Super Bowl. And so I saw during the Super Bowl that the views were 6 views higher than what they actually were in the analytical program. And after the views caught up, but I didn't check the analytics. But today, the views, actual views, are over 100, but the analytics are now factoring in the Super Bowl and are behind the actual views. It's just, when are companies going to realize you can't do analytics? It is the most awful programming system that ever developed. Oh my God. Alright, so no new real changes with the top 10 videos. Do a snapshot for my own personal files. Yeah, it's 103 rather than 100. I mean, it's only 3 difference, but still. But, my goodness, people are liking the videos that I've been coming out with yesterday. Really? John DeLynn's video was on Saturday? Showing February 6th is when I did it. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, I must have done yesterday's video, the Whoso looketh upon a woman denies the LDS Church. But, yeah, alright.